Oh, hi, fellow model railroaders and swamp rats. It's me, Joseph, creator of the On30 Mosquito Creek Lumber Company Swamp Logger Railroad. You see it in the background here. Down below on the second level is my Big Island Rail HO scale layout that hasn't really gotten started yet because there's so much stuff going on the On30 layout that I don't want to get started on things down below because trying to squeeze in between two levels of model railroad to do some wiring or what have you, scenery work is dirty, and so we'll get most of the stuff completed on the top level and then get started on that. Anyway, you saw me reading the 2020 edition of the On30 Annual that came out last year, and I just happened to be reading about the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company. Yeah, we had a little article there about a day in the life of the Blackwater Junction on the Swamp Logger. So I thought, hey, while we're waiting for the next On30 Annual to get published so we can enjoy all the great articles in there, I thought, why don't we highlight one of the areas on the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company layout that is actually pretty close to being finished, and featured it in the magazine there, and we'll kind of do a little video tour along with some of the pictures that were featured in the On30 magazine last year, the On30 Annual that is. And so come along and enjoy, and thanks for watching. Let's go and head over to Blackwater Junction. So here's the turntable area of Blackwater Junction. This is a Pico On30 plastic kit that I modified and put a tower on and put some side rails on it, weathered it up, and now you see we've got two small industrial diesel locomotives sitting here. Well, one's diesel, number 31, and the other one, that's the Swamp Thing. It's gas powered, so it's not operational. It's a manual spin it around. There's no motor in it to change the location or the tracks, so it's all powered by hand, but it looks pretty cool actually. It adds a lot, fits in there pretty good. Let's get a little overhead shot here. So it is a tight squeeze in there. As you can see, just have one track leading to it and a couple small service track setouts, and then over here it leads to the fuel rack, and there is the water tank for Blackwater Junction. And you can see a maintenance of way supply shed in the background. We'll talk about those Quonset huts in just a little bit. All right, let's take a look at the fuel rack here. This is a very short track, but we can get one locomotive in there for sure. And it's made up of a combination of O scale details and HO scale details. Some of the HO stuff includes that fuel tank in the back there, this fuel stand, which is looking kind of crooked right now. This little gas or oil tank on a riser there, that's HO scale. This water pipe, that's actually HO scale from 100 years ago. It was in the junk pile. This cool looking gas pump, that is O scale. That's a metal casting that's been painted. What else is HO scale? These lights, which aren't on right now. All right, that's better. The lights are on, and the lights are up on the layout so you can kind of see everything. So you have to get onto the turntable, take a spin, and then move carefully down into the service track here. The platforms for the tank and for the pumps and stuff is 1/8" tempered masonite. These are HO scale street lights that I've put up on concrete pedestals. And I've weathered the track pretty heavily with a lot of grease and oil. And there is some water that keeps dripping out of the water pipe there. There's another little fuel tank, some small oil cans, and a garbage can, and of course more water because, well, it's Louisiana and it rains a lot. Okay, the next area we'll take a look at is this track here, which, as you can see, dead ends right up into the background. Those are hand-painted trees by me, and then some scratch-built fence to hide the other that's kind of fallen over. This place is in really bad disrepair. Anyway, this is a scratch-built structure for the maintenance away shed. Just use some scribed wood, I believe, as the frame, and then covered it with black painted construction paper, or actually I think it was like copier paper, painted black and gray, and then glued onto the outside, and then some strip wood to cover the seams. And we also have some O scale and HO scale details there, including a couple fuel cans or oil cans, 50-gallon drums, garbage cans, an old tire and wheel, and we have something mysterious under the tarp, which actually is just a block of wood that's covered with a tarp that I made from toilet paper, soaked with green paint and draped over and allowed to dry, and then weathered. Looks pretty cool, I think. This track here is kind of the interchange track, although it's supposedly the track that heads out of town and brings cars in and out of Blackwater Junction. I'll end up setting box cars or supply cars, flat cars, tank cars, what have you. They'll get set out there by hand and then be picked up by the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company crews and hauled back to Mosquito Camp. All right, over here is the warehouse track, a very short spur. There's not a lot of space here, but those two Quonset huts are the survivors off of my previous Mosquito Creek Lumber Company layout. These were on the Navy base, the Naval Air Station Blackwater, as Navy warehouses. Well, now they're warehouses for the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company. So if a boxcar comes in or what have you on the interchange track, crews will switch it there, and then it can be offloaded into the warehouses, and then when needed, another boxcar like we see here, number 9, the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company supply car, will be spotted at the warehouse, reloaded, and hauled back to camp. Now here's kind of a fun little scene that's not really railroad related, but it does add some fun and interest, featuring my scratch-built fried catfish truck, which has been featured in the Narrow Gauge and Short Line Gazette many years ago, based on an old photo that keeps recirculating on social media. So I built this on an old truck, cast metal O-scale truck. Scratch built the shed, the shack on there, the kitchen shack. And then, of course, we have some customers here waiting for some fried catfish. I don't know if we can see what's on the menu. Got some fun stuff there. What do we got? Bacon and tomato sandwich. I think I'll have one of those and a Coca-Cola. Oh, they don't serve Coke here. Make it Pepsi. Or maybe a Jack's beer. That might be good. So as they're waiting, all the locals here just kind of hanging out, waiting for their order. It's kind of busy there. We got these guys bought a 6-pack of Orange Crush. They're just kind of jawing and checking things out. And this guy, Blind Melon, he's hanging out there waiting for his order to be served up. And then he's going to get it and take it over to the supervisor there in company car number 3, and they'll head back over to the offices and the shops. So lunch is almost ready to be served. Well, what did you think? Thanks for coming along on our little tour of the Blackwater Junction area on my On30 Mosquito Creek Lumber Company Swamp Logger Railroad. Of course, that's the city side, and over here is the swampy, interesting side. Anyway, hope you appreciated that. Hope you enjoyed it. Taking a look at some of the video of that area, and it's almost complete. A few more things to do. Maybe you noticed I'm wearing a pretty cool logoed t-shirt right now, long sleeve, and it's in safety yellow. You can pick up t-shirts and hats, and we're even got some stickers too if you're interested in promoting the On30 model railroading scene, especially the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company. It's our logo, looking pretty decent on a die cut type of sticker. It's water resistant. You can put it on the outside of your car or your locomotive or whatever. So head down into the description. There's a link to the tea store that has all the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company merchandise, including t-shirts like this, and appreciate you doing that. Until next time, keep swatting those skeeters and keep on model railroading. Talk to you soon.